There are two kinds of complexity in music. Mechanical, aka the amount of notes one can slam into 1 second of music, and structural, aka the nuances of lyrics, melody, harmony, and emotion. There is a metal subgenre called progressive or prog metal, and it is known for its intricate rhythms and melodies. But is it really as complex as wannabe fretboard wankers want it to be? Let's find out why a certain disco song from the 70s is more complex than 99% of actual prog metal bands. One of the most well-known bands in this subgenre is Dream Theater. They have a song called Endless Sacrifice. From the first glance, it seems like a deep and elaborate ballad about relationships and love, with a nuanced and catchy melody, harmony, and rhythm. Until we hit the 5-minute mark. We hear the unexpected boom on the drums, and it seems like everyone in the band has developed an unhealthy sexual desire towards their musical instruments and start fiercely fingering them till death. Why did it happen? What was the musical or lyrical reason? Why the fuck did this song turn instantly from a seemingly great love ballad to a gazillion notes per second competition? The reason is quite simple, actually. Guys, are you fucking serious? This is a 14-year-old emo boy that's been just rejected by a girl level of poetry. These lyrics don't just have cliches, they're made of them. This is exactly what happens when the producer doesn't give a fuck about the final product. Instead of guiding the band, fixing the lyrics and delivering the strong emotion, he starts wrapping the turd in gift paper to shift listeners' attention. After that, playing with odd meters because that tricks your brain into thinking that the music is intricate, while in reality they just copy-pasted a beat to the end of the bar and fretboard and keyboard wanking happen because obviously more notes per second equals sophistication and a good song, right? Fucking wrong. This is not art, this is sport. And yes, it does have all the right to be. I'm not telling you what you should or should not listen to. That is your right, use it at your own will. What I am saying, however, is that there are dozens of kinds of musical complexity, and you don't have to limit yourself to the almighty ones who finger their guitars so hard that they melt the gloss sunburst finish. If we take the same subgenre of progressive metal, there is a Swedish band called Opeth, and they do two mutually exclusive things. They make listenable and enjoyable metal songs while completely fucking the music theory over. For instance, the song The Drapery Falls. It is the first part of it is also a ballad, which later switches over to death metal growling distortion Uruk-hai Family Fest. And to be fair, the lyrics there are not much better than in The Endless Sacrifice. But the harmony and the mood of the instrumental are evolving naturally and with the lyrics. For the detailed music theory analysis, please visit the Daily Ducks channel. He is way more advanced in music theory than I am. To take an example from a completely different genre, when I was making a cover for ABBA's Dancing Queen, I was taken aback at how intricate their harmony is. And it doesn't sound like that at all. It's a fucking disco song. And this is exactly the reason why Dancing Queen is still somewhere around the top of all time's best charts, and I Was Made for Loving You was sucking ass even before it was released. There's also lyrics complexity, and that's where boys and girls from rap and hip-hop can actually flex their linguistic muscles, when they actually take the time and effort to move on from the bitches, the cash, and the flexing topics. As for me, I can see when the lyrics are really bad, but I don't understand shit in writing lyrics, I'm more about music. And while the white cisgender males exercise in their guitar's masturbation speed trying to play that same excerpt a millisecond faster, they still remain in their comfortable 12-tone classic white cisgender music theory. Meanwhile, the people from India, Turkey and Arabic countries have been using 22 and 24-tone systems for centuries. They literally have twice as many notes in their musical alphabet. So playing a metal solo in a standard Western scale is like typing using only the half of the alphabet. But you know who actually brought this music complexity into Western charts? Fucking Dua Lipa. Let's take a look at her song Good and Bad. She did what most prog metal bands couldn't dream of in their wettest dreams. She took an interval that has 3 semitones and divided it into 4. A radio pop diva had more balls to avant-garde her music and break the 12-tone system than the whole prog metal subgenre. That is the level of melodic complexity I am talking about. Now back to Dream Theater, who I surely don't have any obsession about. Kevin James Labrie's vocal is, it's like hair on the ass, thin but unclean. Why the fuck do you aim at high pitches when you obviously can take them properly? Yes, I can also take a C5. It doesn't mean I have to. Though there are some videos of me trying here on YouTube, and it's not something I am proud of, but it's also not something I will ever delete. Look for it at your own discretion. Now back to the good and complex vocals. Let's talk about vocal control and agility. I'm saying this with all the love and respect to Iron Maiden, but Beyoncé will make Bruce Dickinson sound like a dumb musical college freshman. The sheer amount of melismas, vocal runs, and breath control she puts into one phrase requires a level of physical training that your favorite metal singers simply don't have. Or, if we want to stay closer to metal music, let's take a look at Linkin Park. What Chester Bennington did was actual vocal science. To transition seamlessly from a pitch-perfect pop melody into a brutal, flesh-tearing, false-chord scream without losing the key and without destroying your vocal cords, that is vocal complexity. And since metal music is dominated by men, they try to find out who's best by measuring just the amount of vocal range, not the quality of its usage. Typical. Now to rhythm complexity and odd meters. Do you know how to find out whether the odd meter is needed in the song or not? When it sounds natural. When the rhythm of the song feels like scorpion's teeth and snake's ass have been stitched to a human body by an underqualified welder, you know what I'm talking about. Compare my favorite Endless Sacrifice to a Tool's Schism. Yes, the song is quite strange, but the rhythm oddities are well justified. And speaking of rhythmic oddities, there's another mutually exclusive band called Meshuggah. On one hand, they fuck the rhythms over so hard it feels like watching a washing machine full of bowling balls try to solve a Rubik's Cube. On the other hand, they keep all their music in 4/4 time signature. That is sophistication, not stitching a foreskin to an elbow and running around happily. There are other ways to make music complex, and sometimes they are not even related to the music itself. Did you hear the songs by Lana Del Rey or Billie Eilish? Remember that ASMR feeling their vocals create? That is a shitload of vocal production that is made both by the performer and the producer. You have to create the vocal line, architect it, record it in hundreds of takes. Then you take 20-ish vocal tracks and layer them on top of one another. And making that sandwich sound like an actual vocal line and not like a drunken choir of football fans in a crappy pub after their team has won the local village championship, that's an extra credit bonus task. We can go even further and speak about sonic architecture. It's easy enough producing and mixing a classical metal song. You've got the drums, you have the bass, then there are the guitars, and the vocalist is sitting on top of that with his balls crammed in a steel vise. Have you ever tried adding a synth and a full fucking orchestra into that? And you should do it so that the orchestra plays an essential part, not the background noise it is usually granted in most of the metal tracks. Meet Dimmu Borgir's Aeonian. Or we can abandon the classical Western music completely and look at how Merzbow and others in the noise genre are reinventing the music. Finding music in that is the real complexity. Oh, I almost forgot about the most important point. Sometimes you don't need any of that shit. AC/DC have been playing their one and only song since 1973 and for 18 albums, and they're doing just fine. So sometimes you need simplicity, not complexity. And a good producer knows when to back the fuck off and let the song breathe. And that brings us to the ultimate point. It's easy to tell somebody that their song is shit and that they should fuck off. It's hard for a songwriter to trust their song to a complete stranger because they poured their soul into it. It's hard to actually guide a songwriter through hard and sometimes emotionally draining process of making a song. But that is exactly what a real producer does. If you have a song that actually has a soul, but right now it sounds flat, boring, or just meh, stop trying to fix it by playing your guitar faster. You don't need more notes, you need proper sonic architecture. And that is literally what I do. I'm a music producer, and it is my job to take your raw, emotionally naked demo, build a massive, complex, multi-layered world around it, without burying its core emotion under a pile of useless fretboard wanking. Hit the link to my Sound Better profile down in the description, send me your demos, and let's make some actual art. See ya!